And we are live, Toronto Stevie live. I haven't been on for a long time, but I thought I'd give a Smackdown summer report and some wrestling news, couple of big stories happening in the world of professional wrestling. Like and subscribe to my channel. I wish I could put on some more videos, but I'll try to do my best. One of the big news that's been happening is the passing of the original Midnight Express member Dennis Conry. When I was watching wrestling back in the 80s, the Midnight Express team that I mostly remember was Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. But before Stan Lane became a member, Dennis Conry was one half of the team. I do remember seeing the team of Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey as the original Midnight Express, managed by Paul E. Dangerously, first in the American Wrestling Association, and then they did this angle where on Worldwide Wrestling, it was World Championship Wrestling, where Jimmy Cornette was getting a phone call from somebody, and while he's talking on the phone, that's when Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey hit the ring and assaulted Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. Then Jim Cornette ran into the ring, and somebody, I'm not sure if it was Paul Heyman, bashed him in the face with Heyman's cordless phone, and Jimmy bled buckets. Dennis Condrey has passed away. I believe he was like about 74 years of age. So rest in peace, Dennis Condrey. I'm sure you can tune into Jim Cornette's podcast. He'd probably have a lot to say about Dennis Condrey. He had cancer as well in his later years. The other news, the major news, was Ted DiBiase Jr., the son of the $1 Million Man, who, after he left WWE, he got into a lot of trouble. So I have to put my glasses on. But he was on trial for embezzlement. Or fraud. So this is from TMZ Sports. Ted DiBiase Jr., son of the $1 Million Man, acquitted by a federal judge on charges, one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, receiving federal funds, 2 counts of theft, receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. Basically, Ted Jr. was looking at years and years and years in prison, but he was found not guilty. He afterwards he made a statement saying, "I'm so thankful that it's over." So Ted Jr. Avoids the slammer. Those were the 2 main wrestling news stories. What do you think? But let's get to the Smackdown results. Smackdown this last night came from Raleigh, North Carolina. Your commentators were Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. They begin with a review of last week's contract signing with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, in which Randy Orton, for no reason explained, turned on Cody, bloodied him up, and left him laying at the announce table. So we come back after that, and we see I don't know, again, this guy named Jelly Roll arriving in the ring at the arena, and that's when The one of many encounters between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu occurs. And it seems that they fight throughout the entire episode of SmackDown. They're in a parking area, and you just see like a smashed windshield of a car, and you see blood on Jacob Fatu. I guess you would assume that Drew McIntyre threw him face first into the windshield of a car, but Jacob comes back and they begin fighting. Even though there are officials trying to break them up, they continue to fight throughout the entire episode of SmackDown. When we cut back inside the arena, we think that the show is starting, but instead, you hear Drew McIntyre, his voice on a mic, and he comes out, and I think he stepped onto the commentary table, or gets in the ring, and he said he's there to fight Nick Aldis, who I guess maybe they have a limited supply of security guards, so they had to leave Jacob Fatu and so where did Jacob go? But Drew somehow on his own comes into the arena. He's confronted by the security and Nick Aldis, and they basically he wants to know what's wrong. You've had every opportunity given to you, and you still act like a maniac. He says, you're doing your very best to make your way to unemployment. And Drew comes back with, I tried to quit, but I got a better idea. He takes a shot at Nick Aldis' son, and this brings out Jacob Fatu. And once again, Drew threw him into the barricade, and they kept on fighting. And I think, this is when Jacob jumped up onto the barricade, and then he did a flying headbutt onto Drew McIntyre through the announce table, and that was the end of the opening segment. Coming back from the commercial break, we finally get the opening match of the night is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The champions, Tama Tonga and JC Mateo, defending the titles against the makeshift tag team of Damian Priest and R-Truth. This was a very quick match, probably went through one commercial break, but it was the makeshift tag team. I think they won a gauntlet match the week before. You had the Wyatt Six come out at one point to chase off the MFTs, Tama Tonga and the other guy. And they chased them off, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. And this allowed R-Truth and Damian Priest to hit the finisher moves. I think it was R-Truth got the AA on JC Mateo. At one point, Uncle Howdy tried to take the lantern back, but JC Mateo interrupted it. And then when he ran back into the ring, he got an AA from R-Truth, pinned 1, 2, 3, new WWE Tag Team Champions, R-Truth and Damian Priest. So R-Truth goes from the hardcore champion to the WWE Tag Team Champion. Good move on R-Truth. Probably before he retires, give him a tag team title belt. Backstage, we've got everyone's favorite backstage interviewer and mine, the very sexy Kathy Kelly. She is interviewing the Bella Twins ahead of their women's tag team championship match against the team of Nia Jax and Lash Legend. So it's their first tag team title match, I think, ever. I can't remember the last time that they competed for the tag team titles, if they did at all. So then we get another backstage segment with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. And Danhausen comes up, and I don't think he he asked for $20 to help out. He took the money and then disappeared. Coming back from the commercial break, Kathy Kelly is with Sami Zayn. I don't really know where they're going with Sami Zayn. He really doesn't have a WrestleMania match right now. I don't really know where he's going. I get these vibes that Sami is turning heel, but I don't know. This is confusing. This is like a guy in search of a program, kind of. But I think he's interrupted by Trick Williams. That would be a good way for Trick to get a WrestleMania victory if he were to take on Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. But we'll see how this goes. Next match of the night, Fraxium versus the Motor City Machine Guns. This is one where Candice LeRae kind of came out to, I think, throw a punch at one of the Fraxium guys. It allowed Chris Sabin to get the win. Winners of the match, the Motor City Machine Guns. Mid-card storyline. I don't know where this is going. It's just kind of, maybe it's a Smackdown only kind of thing. Coming back from the commercial break, Randy Orton. His music hits and he comes out and he gets on the microphone, gets a chair, sits down in the middle of the ring, and he basically, I guess this is where he tries to explain himself. He says he gives high fives, he signs autographs, but I mean, like he had the perfect opportunity to cut a heel promo on Cody Rhodes, and he didn't really do that. So instead, he was talking about his legacy, talking about winning a 15th world title, and that not too long ago, he won the Elimination Chamber. He was all set to fight Drew McIntyre, and he knew what he needed to be to beat Drew. But then Cody won the title, and he didn't know what he needed to do to beat Cody. Again, he's trying to explain, why not just say, I'm Cody Rhodes, I'm going to kick your ass 1, 2, 3 and get my 15th world title to add to my legacy anyway. He basically says, he's going to hit the RKO and win the world title, win the WWE Championship. Coming back from the commercial break, Randy Orton is he's confronted by Matt Cardona, and this is where I found this being very entertaining. Matt Cardona asked, what was that last week? I know you want the title, but Randy lays into him, says, you have the nerve to speak to me like that. Do you have any action? Go play with your action figures. So basically, Orton just beat up Matt Cardona and tells him to stay out of his business. Next up, we get Sami Zayn taking on Aleister Black, and Trick Williams came out to observe at ringside, and it was Trick Williams sort of distracting Cody Rhodes, distracting Sami Zayn, and I think Sami Zayn knocked him out, or knocked down Trick Williams, climbed back into the ring, walked right into a Black Mass kick from Aleister Black, went down. Aleister Black covered him 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black gets the win. Again, I'm not really sure where they're going with Sami Zayn, but if it's building towards a Trick Williams match, Trick should go over WrestleMania. Nick Aldis is backstage with Matt Cardona, and Matt Cardona tells him, he wants a match against Orton. But Alda says, no, that's not going to happen. Carmelo Hayes comes in. I guess he's going to have another open challenge. And this time it's Ilya Dragunov, who resisted wrestling him weeks ago, now says he wants the match. So that's going to happen later on tonight. Coming back from the commercial break, we get, again, something at all. But that seems to be a running theme on WWE television, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown. You get Jade Cargill coming to the ring, and basically what she does is she calls out Rhea Ripley. So Rhea Ripley comes out, and these two go back and forth, and they don't get into a fight, but basically it's just a back and forth, cutting promos on each other. At one point, Jade just gets out of the ring, starts walking up the rampway when she's confronted by B-Fab and Mia Yim, and it looks like you wonder if they're going to get into it with Jade, but instead Jade just steps to the side, and B-Fab and Michin surround Rhea Ripley. I think they both get into the ring at the same time. Rhea Ripley gets a shot in on B-Fab, but Mia Yim uses her kendo stick to assault Rhea Ripley. And this allows Jade Cargill to get in the ring, beat up Rhea Ripley, and hit the Riptide on her. And so basically, it looks like Michin and B-Fab, who were kind of opposing Jade Cargill as late as the week before, are now, for inexplicable reasons, now aligned with Jade Cargill. I don't know. Again, WWE booking, sometimes it just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Heel turn for the sake of a heel turn, kind of like Randy Orton, same thing. So that's how that segment ended. Backstage, you have Kit Wilson and The Miz. They're interrupted by Danhausen. This is how Danhausen, I guess, is going to earn his living. He's just doing backstage segment after backstage segment. Not really, no in-ring action from him yet at all. Elsewhere backstage, the MFTs are Solo Sikoa is pissed off that they lost the tag team titles. I think JC Mateo suggests they just give the lantern back to the Wyatt Six. And we get another brawl between Drew McIntyre and Fatu. Coming back for the commercial break, WWE United States Open Challenge, Carmelo Hayes defending against Ilya Dragunov. This was a hell of a match. Went through a couple of commercial breaks, and it was Dragunov going for a powerbomb, but Hayes reversed it into a sunset flip and got the pin. Lots of near falls, great wrestling action. This was probably the match of the night. Highly recommend you watch it. Carmelo Hayes retains the U.S. title. So finally, we got backstage. There's a segment there with Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Randy kind of plays the babyface in this segment with Jelly Roll. He's not angry. He doesn't attack Jelly Roll. They just kind of go back and forth. I guess because Jelly Roll had more to do, and Orton had something else to do. So he really didn't get into it with him. And they actually ended the segment hugging each other. Coming back from the commercial break, Kit Wilson is in the ring and he calls out Jelly Roll. So Jelly Roll comes out, and at first I'm kind of wondering, do they want to have like a rap battle or something? But no. Kit Wilson calls Jelly Roll a jerk and says, and he does these rhymes. I think he does these rhymes. He tries to do a rap or some sort of thing. So Jolly Roll asking, well, what brought you here? You want to have a rap battle, but you're not a rapper. Um, don't compare me to her. Kit Wilson says, now don't compare me to a rapper, but I'm better than that and better than you. He says, no rap battle, but tonight they're going to have a slam poetry. And Kit Wilson has this little book in his hand, and he says, Jelly, he can talk all he wants. He can talk all he wants, but he has no class. Just a couple of face tattoos and a criminal past. He calls him a jerk, but at least it's proof that Ozempic works. But nonetheless, Jelly Roll makes these comments about Kit Wilson's mother. Anyway, this basically ends. Kit Wilson hit Jelly Roll with a spinning elbow and left him laying. There's a backstage segment with Kiana James and Julia, and I think they were confronted by Chelsea Green, and they just got rid of her. Coming back from the commercial break. So coming back from the commercial break, Jelly Roll is with Nick Aldis, and he says, next week I want to have a wrestling match with Kit Wilson. So I guess Nick Aldis makes the match. Next up, we get the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Nia Jax and Lash Legend taking on the Bella Twins. At one point, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss came to observe at ringside. The heel champions are having their way with the Bella Twins. Just no real match. The heels get most of the shine in this match. At one point, one of the heels is at ringside, and Charlotte Flair attacks her, and the referee immediately calls for the bell. And that's when the Bella Twins get into a fight with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And they completely ignore Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who these two basically just take out all four of the others and beat them up. Later, it's announced that there's going to be a tag team match between the Bella Twins and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I guess the winner getting the tag team championship match against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Coming back from the commercial break, Randy Orton is out again, and this was basically an opportunity to beat up Matt Cardona. Basically, that's what happened in this one. He called out Matt Cardona. And says, I've known I think it was the ref. They go way back. They've known each other for 20 years. He says he's sorry and he wants to apologize. But he asked Matt Cardona if he'll forgive him. They shake hands. But while they're doing that, Orton low blows him, hits him with an RKO. And as the officials came out to get Orton out of the ring, the fans were yelling one more time at Randy Orton. I guess the fans wanted him to beat up Cardona even more. And I think Randy did place Cardona's arm inside of a chair. And while the officials were breaking it up, Orton just broke away from them and slammed his foot on the chair and smashed Cardona's arm. Cardona sold it like a champion. And so then Aldis and his security guys had no time to rest because they had to immediately run to the back. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre are still fighting. They're on a ledge somewhere in the arena or outside of the arena. And as SmackDown goes off the air, both Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu somehow find themselves on the opposite side of a barricade, and they both fall off this ledge. Who knows what they landed in? Probably airbags, but nonetheless, they fall, and that's sort of the cliffhanger as SmackDown goes off the air. Really nice cliffhanger to see what happens. Do they end up in the hospital? Who knows what? But this is to be continued next week. So we'll see how that one goes. But that was SmackDown. That was your SmackDown summary. I certainly hope you like and subscribe to my channel. I'll keep trying to do more. In Your Head Wrestling Radio, Tuesday nights. Now Nasty Neil, I'm sorry, hosting it by himself. I do post that whenever it comes on, and share it with everybody, because I try to get on every week. And catch me on that show. Catch me on Toronto Stevie Live. And like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Leave a comment if you'd like. And I am out of here.